The Madison Police Department is really poised to continue being one of the best police departments in the country.
A new era begins for local law enforcement as Chief Sean Barnes reflects on the past 4 years leading the Madison Police Department.
Plus, more than 2/3 of maternal health-related deaths are considered preventable in the U.S. I'm Armand Rama on how a new program at SSM Health is hoping to change that.
And dramatic video of an ice rescue from overnight after another person falls through the ice on Lake Mendota. And we welcome you to News 3 now at 6. And good evening, I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson.
We begin tonight with a big transition happening this week in local law enforcement.
Yeah, it's Chief Sean Barnes' last week on the job leading the Madison Police Department. Our Susan Simon sat down with the chief to reflect on his 4 years in Madison.
Eric and Sarah, Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes will leave his position February 1st to head to the Pacific Northwest to take over the role of Chief of Police in Seattle, a community triple the size of Madison. Recent data shows that overall crime in Madison has been on the decline during Barnes' tenure. His departure comes after a difficult end of the year for the city of Madison, following the tragic shooting at Abundant Life Christian School on December 16th. Barnes said while it's difficult to leave, his team has the tools to finish the investigation without him.
We were able to navigate that successfully because we have an amazing team, we have an amazing community, we were well trained, we were prepared, and everyone worked to their best ability and even some beyond. And we were able to kind of get through that at this particular point. We're in the investigation phase, so it does make sense that the people who are doing the work are supported by the chief, and we believe that the interim chief will do that and anyone else who sits in this seat. So really at this point, the leaders need to step back and allow our great detectives, officers, and investigators to do their job.
Barnes reflected on his past 4 years as chief, saying that he is very proud of the work he's done to build partnerships and trust in the community. Barnes said he's also proud that he's leaving a department fully staffed and one that's 28% women, and that Madison did not lose an officer in the line of duty during the past 4 years. Assistant Chief John Patterson, a 25-year veteran of the department, will take over as interim chief of the Madison Police Department this weekend.
All right, thank you, Susan. In other news, a man is recovering after falling through the ice on Lake Mendota. First responders were called to the lake near Picnic Point just before 11 o'clock last night. This is drone video of the rescue sent to us from the Madison Police Department. The man who fell through the ice was able to use his cell phone flashlight as a beacon. He was in the water about 20 minutes. An airboat was used to rescue him, and he was taken to the hospital for treatment.
Well, the Madison Fire Department investigating several fires reported at bus stops in the past week. The latest happened just after midnight in a trash can at the Independence Lane at East Washington Avenue bus stop. Madison police put the fire out before Madison fire crews arrived. Flames reportedly had reached near the ceiling of that bus stop, but there was no damage. The cause of the fire is unknown.
Well, today is Maternal Health Awareness Day, and statistics show the United States remains weak. For every 100,000 live births in 2022, there were about 22 maternal deaths, with Black women being the most affected. That death rate is more than double and sometimes triple those seen in most other high-income countries. Physicians say many of the maternal deaths are preventable, some linked to chronic diseases like obesity, hypertension, and diabetes. Experts say establishing care early on in pregnancy is critical, but not everyone has access to that care.
Family physicians still provide maternity care in many areas, and especially in rural and underserved areas, kind of trying to alleviate some of those maternity deserts.
Another major concern after pregnancy is postpartum depression. Doctors say it's critical for women to continue seeing a doctor after giving birth in order to be screened for mental health struggles. Sometimes a new mother going through postpartum complications can get bogged down by tests and screenings during a medical emergency.
And some may not know all of the post-birth warning signs. Armand Rahman has more on how Wisconsin's first post-birth alert program is hoping to change that. Armand?
Eric, and yes, as healthcare providers at SSM Health say this little orange bracelet could be the difference between life and death for new moms.
This is our first kid. She's a girl. She's a perfect little girl.
3 days after being born, little Sky Lee Brown is getting ready to go to her new home.
Gonna practice this world together.
And her mom, Frida, is getting an extra layer of protection for their new chapter of life.
Just make you feel comfortable. I mean, you go through something so traumatic and new with your body, and just being prioritized is a big thing.
All new moms at SSM Health's 6 delivering hospitals in Wisconsin are being offered this orange bracelet.
And bring awareness, sort of like a medical alert bracelet.
To let EMTs, hospital staff, or even family members know they've given birth within the last 6 weeks and could be experiencing a postpartum complication to hopefully get them treatment quicker.
It could make the difference of life or death in certain situations, depending upon when the response is happening.
In 2022, 817 women died from maternal health-related causes.
High blood pressure or preeclampsia, they can be more at risk for seizures or even hemorrhage.
More than 2/3 of these deaths are considered preventable.
Postpartum is a real thing, and it happens to a lot of women.
The new moms are also given a magnet with information on post-birth signs and symptoms.
So pain in the chest, difficulty breathing, high fevers, passing clots, or increased vaginal bleeding.
It may not seem like much, but for new moms like Frida,
This is new for both of us, so all three of us. So just knowing that someone has our back outside of us is always appreciated. One call away.
Now, to implement the program, SSM Health educated EMS providers across the state on the orange bracelets and about potential post-pregnancy complications. Eric and Sarah.
Armand, thank you. Cold today, but not as bad as the past few days. Here's Chief Meteorologist Alex Arrington with the first warn forecast on the patio. Alex?
Yep, out on the patio. When I'm on the patio, it means we're not in that deep polar plunge. It's cold out, but it is January, and this is what we would expect for temperatures as the skies are clear. We have light winds, snow on the ground, perfect recipe for temperatures to drop, and drop rather quickly. We're already down to 11 in Madison, 12 in Boscobel, 6 in Camp Douglas, and 9 in Janesville, 10 just to the west in Monroe. Zooming on in here to Dane County, it's pretty much all 11 out there other than Edgerton. You're at a 9-degree reading already. Temperatures tonight will dip down to around 1 by the time we get into the early morning hours, and I think overnight we will dip below 0, especially since we've had a little bit of fresh snow cover across southern Wisconsin. So cold night, but not a dangerously cold night, and the winds are light, so that certainly helps with regards to wind chills. Tomorrow we'll get into the 20s. Clouds will be on the increase, and we have another little weather system that's going to make its way across Wisconsin, bringing little light snow Friday night, maybe a dusting. Coming up in Maine weather, we're going to track that weather system together.
All right, Alex, thank you. Tech billionaire Elon Musk drawing attention to Wisconsin's Supreme Court race. The tech billionaire and friend of President Trump posted on his platform X saying it is very important to vote Republican, he says, in the race to prevent voter fraud. The post references a separate post in which a user implied the majority liberal court's ruling to reinstate ballot drop boxes helped Senator Tammy Baldwin beat her Republican challenger Eric Hovde in last November's Senate race. Musk's post already has more than 7 million views, and now Democrats are responding.
That's scary. And whether in Madison or Manitowoc, you don't want Elon Musk wading into your politics.
There will be no primary in the race for Wisconsin Supreme Court. There are just 2 candidates. You can vote for conservative-backed Judge Brad Schimmel or liberal-backed Justice Susan Crawford on April 1st.
Right now, the Wisconsin National Guard website is temporarily down. This is due to the executive order signed by President Trump regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're taking a look now live at the website. The president's DEI plan is to get rid of equity plans developed by federal agencies terminating roles or offices dedicated to promoting diversity. This will eliminate initiatives such as DEI-related training or diversity goals and performance reviews. The National Guard says it hopes to be back online soon as it works to comply with the order.
Coming up on News 3 Now at 6, Bratfest announces this summer's event headliners.
But first, there's a new report out from the Wisconsin Realtors Association, what experts say buyers can do to make navigating the market easier.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
There's a new report out from the Wisconsin Realtors Association that explains some of the barriers buyers can face when looking for that new home.
Our Merrill Hubbard is here to break down the report and share ways to make the house search a little easier.
In my hand is the December 2024 Wisconsin Real Estate Report, which gives us data on housing, prices, income, supply, and sales. This data shows that there's been a 10% decline in statewide affordability over the last 12 months. Why? Well, Wisconsin has a strong seller's market and barriers for buyers.
We have pretty solid demand, and we have very tight supply.
David Clark, consultant for the Wisconsin Realtors Association, says that home sales are up about 4.7% since 2023.
That tight supply and strong demand is what causes our prices to spike the way they have.
The median price of the average home in south central Wisconsin spiked by 4.6% from $325,000 in December of 23 to $340,000 in December of 24. And the median household income has not kept up.
If your income isn't going up as fast as the cost of living and the cost of housing is, that's a problem.
Sona Olson is president of the board of directors for the Realtors of South Central Wisconsin.
I think other issues that affect buyers, not only the affordability, is also just not understanding real estate.
She says as affordability goes down, there are resources to help buyers navigate the market.
Find an agent, find a really good agent, someone who understands the housing markets, the economy of the housing market as an investment.
Olson recommends finding an agent and knowing your rights as a client. She says to ask for this disclosure to customers document.
If I was a buyer, I would demand a copy of that form from an agent, and it clearly describes agency in Wisconsin. We have a fiduciary duty to you, so we need to explain to you who we represent, how we represent them, how we get paid, who is paying it, and when are we being paid.
If you are looking for an agent or guidance in your home search, I've posted resources for buyers and sellers on channel3000.com.
Thank you, Marilyn. Still ahead, how what you're wearing could get you kicked off of a Spirit Airlines flight.
We've seen those folks on those planes. No, I'm kidding. Plus, a Wisconsin snowplow company sends a fleet of trucks down to Texas as winter storms their blanket the cities with snow.
And here, warmer weather is on the way. Alex returns with the complete forecast after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. Wisconsin could have not one, but two Buc-ee's locations within the next few years. The travel center chain looking to expand now to Oak Creek. It would be located at the southwest corner of I-94 and Elm Road, featuring 120 gas pumps, including ethanol-free, diesel exhaust liquid, and EV charging options. The store is slated to open in early of 27. Now, you'll recall in 2023, Buc-ee's announced plans to expand to the DeForest area. Developers hope to break ground sometime last year and then open this year, but in 2024, negotiations over paying for highway improvements around the site have delayed Buc-ee's from breaking ground.
And Bratfest organizers are announcing who will be headlining this year's festival. Bratfest will take place May 23rd through the 25th. The headliners this year include Ace Frehley. Can't say
Frehley. You don't remember Kiss?
I do remember Kiss, the original lead guitarist for Kiss. I just didn't say his name. Also, Guns N' Roses founding drummer Steven Adler. And country artist Tyler Farr, who's known for his songs Whiskey in My Water and Redneck Crazy. Full lineups and details can be found at channel3000.com.
I know you know Redneck Crazy. I know you love that song.
Sure.
Spirit Airlines making some changes to passenger dress code. It specifically addresses certain clothing and tattoos that will no longer be allowed on board. Spirit gives specific examples as see-through clothing and exposed private parts, not recommended for flying folks. Spirit also says passengers wearing lewd, obscene, offensive, or revealing clothing or body art may be denied boarding or removed from flights. The new policy comes after 2 women were kicked off a Spirit flight for wearing something called crop tops.
I'm trying not to laugh. All right, a Wisconsin snow removal company is lending a hand to people in Texas as the southern state deals with record-breaking snow. Right now, 16 men and 8 trucks from Milwaukee's Weber Landscaping are clearing lots in Houston, lots of snow for businesses like Amazon, Target, and Walmart. The area is expected to get 3 to 6 inches. And while that's low for Wisconsin standards, they don't have the hundreds of plows Wisconsin does, of course. And it wasn't just plows they brought. The crews had to bring their own salt because Houston also rarely sees ice.
It definitely doesn't look right when you're plowing snow next to a palm tree. But yeah, it's odd. You see people shoveling their driveway with like the floor mat of their car.
Weber Landscaping says they'll always answer the call for help elsewhere as long as Wisconsin is dry.
For the most part, it has been, Alex, as we get some snow across the area the last 24 to 48 after that cold snap. But yeah, they don't really know how to deal with that stuff. You got to wait for it just to melt off, I suppose, down in Houston.
That's right. I actually did an installation in Wichita Falls, Kansas. This is Wichita Falls, Texas, many years ago. They had 6 inches of snow, and I got to the station, and they said, "I can't believe you made it here." And I said, well, this is what we deal with all the time in Wisconsin. We did also get a little bit of snow over the course of the last 24 hours where our road crews were out there helping keep things from the roads getting too slick. Most of that snow actually lined up from Janesville over towards Elkhorn, where they got 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. One of our friends at WCLO Radio said they had to get the snowblower out last night. We have a little bit more snow on the way. This is going to be for Friday night, another dusting to 1 inch possible. Let's track that weather system. About this time tomorrow night, we could have a few snowflakes coming down from the sky as we move forward into the evening, later evening hours. Best chance of that light snow is going to be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, going into the early morning hours on Saturday. And then maybe another flurry or two, a snow shower, particularly north of Madison as we go towards the noon hour. Planning our evening tonight. Temperatures dipping on down. Will be at the 10 o'clock newscast about 5. Wind chills -3, so not in that dangerous category, but certainly cold. Not for sure out there. -1 for a low in Madison, -3 in Camp Douglas, -3 in Janesville, and Friday, I want to fast forward to Saturday here, but we got to do Friday first. Temperatures in the 20s, those clouds will be on the increase, and again, that snow enters a little bit later in the afternoon. Our wind chills, we've been talking about that for days and days and days. It's in the cold range for the most part throughout the day on Friday. So not the cautionary, not the dangerous stuff. So that's a plus that we're continuing to work out of that polar plunge. Temperatures beyond our cold Friday, we go up to 31 Saturday, normal on Sunday. Average highs are 27. So that's that line that goes across the screen here. Most of our temperatures are at or well above normal, if not pushing 40 degrees a little bit later in the 10-day. And these snow chances, again, Friday night going into Saturday, they're not big snows, maybe a few flurries on Monday as warmer air tries to move in. And as it does, 36 for high temperature as we move a little bit further, and I'll get out of the way here, towards the end of next week, maybe a little bit of a return towards more of an active weather pattern, but we're keeping an eye on that. That's still 10 days out, and quite a bit could certainly change. Drought monitor, we have dry to moderate drought conditions across much of the upper Midwest. And while I like to be the bearer of good news, the overall amount of water that we're expecting over the course of the next 10 days, 10th, maybe a quarter of an inch at most. We'll be keeping an eye on that because we most certainly want to keep an eye on drought conditions as we get closer and closer to spring.
And coming up in sports, another week, another big-time matchup for Wisconsin on the ice this weekend, while the Badgers say it's all about skating hard both days against the Wolverines. That's next on News 3 Now. It's another big-time series for the Wisconsin men's hockey team this weekend when they welcome in Michigan to the Kohl Center. The two entered tied in the conference standings, and there's no margin for error at this stage of the season for the Badgers. Now, they took 4 of the possible 6 points for the Wolverines back in December, and now they have to come out and play with the same intensity on both nights.
We're excited. It's a privilege to have a chance to play a top 15 team. And we're tied with them in the conference right now, so we're excited for that. We had a good matchup the first time we went there, and we felt like we left a lot on the table on Saturday. So just playing like we did on Friday night and doing that the whole weekend.
In a quick Wisconsin Huddle schedule note, this week's episode with Casey O'Brien will air tonight at 6:30 instead of Friday. And to get you ready for it, here's the two of us trying a game of sling puck in this week's Huddle Unleashed. And welcome into this week's Wisconsin Huddle Unleashed. I'm Zach Hanley alongside Casey O'Brien, and today we're going to play sling puck. Have you ever even heard of this game?
Never.
Okay, so we're in the same boat. I haven't played it. The object, though, is to get all your pucks on that. Well, you want to get your pucks on this side. I want to get my pucks on this side. First one to do that wins. Oh, that jumped?
Does that count?
No, you're cheating. Cheating already.
I didn't mean to.
She's cheating already. All right. Best. Maybe 2 out of 3, maybe 5 out of 7, depending on how bad I am. 3, 2. You're really good at face-offs, though, so I gotta time this.
It's my thing, yeah. I feel like the flips should count.
I feel like the flips, you should get negative points. I had no hope in that game.
We gotta get your record. See what your record is against these athletes.
Let's not do that. It's not very good.
Well, let's go to Alex's final check of the forecast.
Cold on Friday, a little light snow Friday night going on into Saturday, maybe a dusting to an inch. But overall, the main trend here with our next 10 days, temperatures at or above normal. I wouldn't get too excited about any of these snow chances just yet. I think much of the 10-day period is going to be dry. But the plus is at least we're out of that polar plunge and temperatures well into the 30s. Could even approach 40 on Monday and Friday of next week. So get out the shorts, I guess, if you'd like. Couple of pictures I want to show you. Thanks, Dawn. Frost formation. All you got to do is scan the QR code if you're sitting at home on the couch, and you can load up your photos to our weather library. And then we can show your photos like Shauna's picture here from Westfield, well north of Madison. More frost. That's a pretty picture.
What is that, on the window or something? I couldn't quite tell what that was.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, Alex, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
We'll see you at 10 o'clock.